Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Well, it's been a hectic few hours, hasn't it? The announcement of Total War Warhammer 3 has sent many people scrambling into speculation, myself included. Pockets of information have been dropping left, right and center from various locations, and it looks like Games Workshop might be giving us a hint towards a possible Cathayan legendary character. Possibly a legendary lord, or more than likely a legendary hero. Or at the very lowest of stretch, possibly this character might be a moving plot point. Not long after the trailer dropped, Games Workshop under their Warhammer community website posted an article in reference to the new trailer, giving us a look at some Kislev concept art, but also confirming the inclusion of Cathay in the Total War Warhammer series. Bear with me, this could be potentially important, so we'll quote the whole thing. Eagle-eyed viewers among you may have spotted the name of Grand Cathay at the end of the trailer, and now the largest empire in the Warhammer world will finally be getting its time in the sun. The Dragon Empire of Cathay has long been mentioned in the background of Old World history, and thanks to the Warhammer Studios' work in close partnership with Creative Assembly, fans will be able to get their first real taste of this fascinating empire in Total War Warhammer 3 at launch. You may have noticed that there is an asterisk in that quote, something which Games Workshop tend to do in their articles. Now, that asterisk leads to the following quote. Devout readers of Black Library books may remember a certain sorcerer from Cathay in 1991's Beast in Velvet. Beast in Velvet is a very old book, as you can imagine, almost 30 years old to be in fact. This was during the time where Games Workshop were still fleshing out the lore of Warhammer Fantasy, and were much more open to creating characters from other races and factions. One such character was introduced through this book, a Cathayan sorcerer, and before anything, a big apology to any of my Chinese speaking viewers, cause I am most definitely going to butcher this name. This character is known as Dian Qing. And yeah, I'm sorry once again. This is a Cathayan chaos cultist with some rather impressive exploits. The character was referred to as a Celestial, meaning he has access to the blue wind of magic, Azir, the law of heavens. Unfortunately, no art of this character exists as far as I'm aware, as he was only mentioned to my knowledge once again in this book. However, we are aware that this character was a Tzeentchian sorcerer, and we are aware through little lore that Tzeentch had many agents within Cathay. The character has had a grand bout of escapades, where once he posed as a servant of the Monkey King, but was eventually found out and expelled. Why he wasn't killed is beyond me because, well, you wouldn't want to leave a dangerous person like that in the open. But then again, I guess that would have been a rather short book. He then found himself within the lands of the Empire, trying to cause chaos there, and was even present in the second siege of Prague in Kislev. Despite the fact that this character has very minor lore when comparing it to more established ones, it's probably one of the most established characters when referencing Cathayans. Again, Cathay unfortunately was never expanded upon too much, but it's strange to me that Games Workshop would actively hint at this character. His exploits within the Western Empire, that of Sigmar's, was based around the time when Karl Franz was Emperor, which does indeed put this character within the current timeline of Total War Warhammer. Could Games Workshop be hinting that this character has been expanded upon? I mean, it seems kinda likely. Something like this just seems way too convenient. Since we are aware that this character has had escapades all over the Warhammer world, maybe he could be implemented as a form of a character or even a mechanic. It's likely that we won't get an evil style Cathayan, at least not at launch. I'm assuming we would get the Emperor of Cathay and the Monkey King as the legendary lords for the beginning, though I could indeed be wrong. Though should this character ever be implemented as a playable character, it could be as a legendary lord or legendary hero to give some element of danger within Cathay itself. We know that Cathay is one of the largest nations in the Warhammer fantasy world, which likely means that that territory itself will be quite large, with loads of different settlements and provinces. It would make sense thematically to add in an evil faction within the boundaries of the Great Bastion, possibly in the form of a Tzeentchian cult wanting to lead an insurrection, and eventually pave way for a mighty chaos invasion. Cathay is a base game race after all, so it can be assumed that they'll eventually get some DLC, and wouldn't it be rather interesting if we had both good and evil factions within the Grand Empire, where perhaps the evil faction would have access to some minor chaos demons, nothing too drastic, but enough to classify it as a sub-faction. Secondly, there is the potential that this character could still be introduced, but in the form of a mechanic. We are aware that this sorcerer did pose as a servant to the Monkey King, so should the Monkey King be introduced as a legendary lord, it could be rather interesting if the Monkey King had a servant trying to trick him into warfare with other factions. The manipulations of Tzeentch are of course extended by his servants. So this could be something in a very different take, say in the form of pop-up dilemmas, where they could have varying degrees of result, some of them good and some of them bad, and you would need to try and figure it out, very similar in a puzzle sense. Especially as the Monkey King in lore kept questionable advisors, even as Skaven. And yes, I am aware that the Monkey King himself was no longer Dragon Emperor by this point in the timeline. However, we do know of strange monkey warriors living in the mountains of heaven, so it could be that they could rewrite his lore like they did with various other characters such as Reponse, who is long dead by now. I'm almost willing to bet that they're going to actually rewrite his lore. I'm kinda sure of it. But this seems to be the first hint regarding named Cathayans. What do you think about this character? I know there's not a lot to go through, but then again, it's Cathay, so yeah, there's not a lot to go through anyway. Do you think he could be introduced as a playable character down the line, possibly as DLC, or as a mechanic for the Monkey King? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.